Welcome to the special interview segment on Impact Yobe. Our guest today is the Honorable Commissioner for Home Affairs, Information and Culture here in Yobe State. He is Abdullahi Begu. Thank you very much for joining us on the program, sir.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, let's start with your core responsibility, which is information flow, information management here in the state. And this is key to bridging the gap between the government and the people. How are you ensuring that this gap is properly managed and closed to ensure that government is brought closer to the people of the state?
Information is power.
Sure.
And all across the world, governments use information to reach the people and to hear from the people. And here in Yobe State, the situation is no different. Thanks to the support of His Excellency Governor Maimala Buni, the information sector here in Yobe State is bouncing back after a lull for a long time. Our state TV and radio services have been retrofitted. We are deploying more digital resources to reach across to the people. We have an active Yobe State government website, which is we're working to make a one-stop shop for all information about the state, MDAs and everything happening in the state. That's www.yobestate.gov.ng. Our radio service is available online 24/7. His Excellency the Governor has given a contract for the renovation of the Yobe TV complex, the studio house. And after the renovation, His Excellency plans to upgrade the infrastructure there. So our TV services are available on free-to-air digital satellite platform. So across the board, we continue to work harder to ensure that the people of the state can hear and know about what the state government is doing for and on their behalf. And so far, the progress that has been made it's a modest progress, no doubt, but is significant. And we'll continue to build on that going forward, so people can remain confident that they know what their government and what their governor are doing on their behalf. And so this is how things are right now.
Yes, these governments came on board with so much promises and the people had high hopes and expectations. It's 2 years of that journey of the first time of Governor Malabuni's administration. But how far so far? How has it been?
Well, if you survey people across the state, you are likely to hear that people are appreciative of the effort of His Excellency Governor Maimala Buni. One, because people know the conditions within which His Excellency the Governor and the Yobe State government are operating right now. He came at a time of great trial for the state. The Boko Haram insurgency, although now significantly subsiding, when he took over, the Boko Haram insurgency was still raging. His Excellency Governor Maimala Buni took over under that circumstance and continued to build on what his predecessor had started. And in addition to the security challenge, there was also the economic recession. It wasn't long after he took over that the COVID-19 pandemic started as a global pandemic that has affected global economies, including our own here in Nigeria. And up to now, we have yet to fully recover. And in fact, more and more challenges continue to mount, and fiscal challenges, general economic challenges. These are challenges that can test any government anywhere in the world. So that's the background that His Excellency Governor Maimala Buni started from. But over the last 2 years, I think his mantra of continuity, consolidation, and innovation, I think that is a mantra that he has lived well, and that he continues to project every single day. All the projects and services started by the previous administration have been continued with. There is not a single project that has been abandoned, and all the services that have been started are now ongoing. And the governor has gone ahead to do even more. That's the consolidation and innovation aspect of the mantra. We see, for example, that the airport project is nearing completion. We believe that by the grace of Almighty Allah, that this airport will be commissioned within the year. The governor has built new markets across the state, retrofitted industries and factories that have been dormant before. The governor also initiating a lot of youth empowerment projects, ensuring that youth have access to training, skills training. The governor also building housing units across the 17 local government areas, so people have more access to shelter, to housing. Across the board, the governor is doing a lot. So if you look at what has been achieved over the last 2 years, I think it's commendable. But there's one thing about the Governor Malabuni that I want to underline here. It's that he believes that the room for improvement is the biggest space in the world. That despite everything he has done so far, that there is plenty of ground to cover. And that's the reason that he remains committed to the project of renewing Yobe State, ensuring that he does more for the people. But let me be honest about this. There are challenges. The resources available to government aren't enough to meet all the demands, all the requests, all the things that people need every single day. And so it's simply impossible that you can achieve everything you want to achieve within 1 year or even within one term. It's something that the governor has to continue to do, but that can only go so far. So I know that His Excellency has plenty of things that he plans to do going forward in the remainder of his term, but also in his second term as governor by the grace of Almighty Allah. And we remain confident that our governor is more than 100% committed to ensuring the revival of Yobe State's economy, to ensuring that people have access to the basic social services that the government should provide, and to ensuring that his promises that he made during the electioneering campaign, that those promises have been fulfilled. I have no doubt about that. Subject to the availability of resources that I mentioned earlier, the governor will spare no effort to ensure that he achieves this.
Okay, you talked about the challenges, the scarce resources, the pressure on the economic resources caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, but we still see projects ongoing, we still see salaries that are being paid. It's as if the government is not stopping, and people are asking, how is his administration able to achieve all of this, despite these challenges that you have outlined?
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that except for those challenges, His Excellency will have done much, much more. That he is able to do what he's doing right now, that he is able to do what he has done, that goes to show how committed and how fully invested he is in ensuring that Yobe moves forward. Right? The challenges are there, the fiscal and economic challenges are there, but still he is able to achieve these things, bring these projects, and ensure that salaries are regularly paid, ensure that his the state of emergency he declared on the education sector, that the resources are pulled together to achieve the objectives of the emergency. These challenges remain, no question. But the fact that he is able to achieve so much within such a period of time. That shows that better days still are ahead for Yobe, that the governor will continue to do more to move the state forward.
You talked about the state of emergency declared on the education sector. Have you started measuring the impact this has had on that sector? Are there improvements now, visible improvements that people can say, indeed, this action to declare state of emergency has paid off or is paying off?
Yeah. Well, so let me try to divide this issue into two. First, there are subsisting challenges that must be met. And there are actions that have to be taken to take the education sector to the next level. On that last part, the part about subsisting challenges, His Excellency the Governor has just inaugurated an education council made out of educationists and administrators and experts and academics who will play a policy advisory role in ensuring that the objectives of the emergency are met. And there are issues that have to be worked out. That's the reason that Education Council has been set up in the first place. So it's an ongoing thing. The issues have been addressed. That council will work to ensure that all the elements are brought together so that the schools that are existing, and we have plenty of primary and secondary schools across hundreds of them, that they have the resources they need for teachers, from basic supplies to reasonable class sizes, to ensure that we have the best quality education for our sons and daughters across the state. That's the one part. The second part is about ensuring that schools are decongested, that more infrastructure is provided across the state. And that's the reason that the governor is building schools, of mega schools, of model schools across the state, in Gashua, in Potiskum, in Yadimbuni, in Damatru, in Gaidam, in Unguru, in all the key major towns of the state, so that schools with high population of students, that those schools are decongested and students have ample room to study, and also the resources, the supplies that they need, in the classroom, in the laboratories, etc. So these are the two-track process that the education sector is going through right now, working to ensure that existing challenges, subsisting challenges are addressed, and working to ensure that new things are introduced, that more facilities, more equipment, infrastructure are provided to ensure that the education sector can rise again. He realized that education is the currency of today's economy, that as a state that is just emerging from the ravages of the Boko Haram insurgents, that the only thing we can do for our growing youth population is provide them access to quality education so they can make the best of their lives. And so far there is a lot of progress been made. The student performance in qualifying examinations across the state over the last 2 years has increased. Student enrollment in school has also gone up. And with the reforms being instituted, with what the governor is doing right now, with the Education Council and other initiatives, a lot of such progress, we will see a lot of such progress going forward.
A large number of the population in the state are rural dwellers. What is the administration doing to ensure that indeed infrastructure, development, and a whole lot of the dividends of democracy are also felt in these communities, not just focusing on urban centers?
Yeah. Well, in the rural areas, what's happening in the urban areas is also going to the rural areas. For example, His Excellency Governor Mema Alabuni is ensuring that there is a regular and adequate supply of water for rural communities. And this is something that the Ministry of Water Resources and its agencies, the State Water Board, the Rural Water Supply Agency, called Ruwasa here, that all those agencies are working together to ensure that water challenges are addressed, and we're making a lot of progress. And with the support of the federal government for the Damaturu Regional Water Supply Project, which is a partnership with the state government, that a lot of those problems will be addressed. The Yobe state government, under His Excellency Governor Malabuni, is also working to ensure that towns and villages are connected by roads, and that is why you have a lot of road projects going on, not just in the major urban centers, but also across rural areas, linking some of the rural areas, and ensuring that farmers have access to roads that they can use to go to their farms and bring out farm produce, etc. Also, the youth empowerment programs of the state government reach across to the rural areas. The training, for example, for youth who benefited from the governor's program.
Thank you so much for your time. Honorable Commissioner, Home Affairs, Information and Culture, Honorable Abdullahi Begu. Thank you for your time on Impact Yobe.
Thanks so much for having me.
And that's all we have time for on this week's episode of Impact Yobe. Do not forget to join us again next week for fresh information coming out from the pride of the Sahel. My name is Femi Akonde. Goodbye.